Hey you guys, well the things you can find at car boot sales, eh? And well, if you're not from the UK, these are really popular, where people drive out every Sunday to a big empty open field, open their car boots to sell their old tat from it. And well, these could be proved to be a real gold mine for retro gaming goodness. As Psycho Fox, a good friend of mine on YouTube, found to his delight when he picked up a bunch of what he thought was blank AMSTRAD discs, but they actually turned out to be older development and demo discs from US Gold. And the exciting thing is, two of the discs turned out to be the very long lost game Mega Twins, that was going to be released by the end of 1991 by US Gold, and lots of adverts appeared in magazines advertising the game, as you can see here. And it was going to be a conversion of the Capcom arcade game, which wasn't amazingly popular, but it was still a really good fun platforming game. Now, interestingly, first of all, AMSTRAD Computer User magazine actually reviewed this game, and the game never got released, and AMSTRAD Computer User magazine were very naughty for doing this, because they did exactly the same thing with the amazing Spider-Man game that never got released. So slapped wrists all around for AMSTRAD Computer User magazine, which I always thought was kind of poor. But anyway, let's take a look at the arcade original first, just so we've got a bit of a comparison. And a very bright, bold and colourful game. I mean, platforming games around about this time, they're beginning to feel a little bit old hat, especially sort of horizontally scrolling ones. I can't imagine this was extremely popular at the time. I mean, Wonder Boy and all that have been around for many years. But it did look and play fantastically, as you can see. Has some very wonderful graphics and lovely sprites. Very smooth and very playable. With some really great music and sound effects. Very typical of Capcom and Japanese platforming games. Now here you control basically two twins who are the sole surviving people of the kingdom that their king used to rule. Everyone's been wiped out, including the king. And basically you control the twins as they go and take revenge and clear the kingdom of all the evil monsters and creatures and things. So that was the first sort of boss encounter. What I liked about this game actually is that the actual levels were relatively short before a boss battle occurred, which is kind of unusual, because most platforming games are really long levels because they're quite simple to program. But these sort of horizontally scrolling platforming games work really well on 8-bit machines. Possibly less so on the Amstrad, which had a bit of a problem with scrolling occasionally. But there's obviously some quite complex and massive boss battles, which could be really difficult to do on an 8-bit system. There's some nice power-ups. You've got special attack there and big explosions and stuff like that. So yeah, very cool, very cutesy. In the right hands, this could have been a really good conversion. The problem was US Gold are known for putting out a load of crap, made even worse by the fact that it was going to be programmed by Teartex, who are notorious for some of the most awful games ever. But anyway, let's take a look at what we've recovered from the discs. That was going to be the box art for the game. And we're going to take a look at the first disc that was been recovered, and this was just labelled Demo, I think. And what this disc has basically the cutscenes and the title screen. And here we go. Really nice introduction screens with some lovely music. Unfortunately, there's some corruption there on the text. But But yeah, all looking really nice so far. And obviously, the fact that they've already done sort of like title screens here shows the game was probably already at a very advanced state. And here we are at the title menu. And you can see there, guys, we've got 1 and 2 player starts. Let's just have a see if we can redefine the keys first of all. Okay, you can enter your initials and name. So I'm just going to put mine in. And we've pressed 2 for 2 players, just to see if we actually can have simultaneous 2 players. Now I'm just trying to remember what the second player keys are here. And then we'll get this started up. Now before the starts, just mention that this version of the game doesn't have any sound effects in game. We've got another disc to look at, so don't worry. And here we go. As you can see, some really bright, bold, colourful graphics. Unfortunately, the status bar is completely corrupted at the bottom of the screen, unfortunately. But these graphics are showing real promise. And we've got 2 simultaneous player action on the go here. That was me just accidentally activating the special attack, which occurs when you hold down the fire button for more than a couple of seconds. And I see we've got had some nice enemy sprites just there. And we've got relatively smooth scrolling as well, which is good. Okay, so not looking too bad so far. There's those jelly bean enemy sprites. A nice death animation. But anyway, let's take a look at the second disc. And you can get these discs, these disc lumps from a website, which I'll link in the description below. So let's play this properly. And we've got some sound effects now from when you use your sword. Now there's supposed to be a chest that drops down here when you flick it with your sword, but I use my special attack. Now this demo is basically running with infinity lives and infinity special attacks. As you can see, your player there, he jumps and moves rather nicely, and has a basically basic sword attack. Now, I'll just mention the first problem with this, that the sword attack has a rather sort of nasty lag to it. When you press the fire button, it's about half a second to a second before your sword actually swings, so that makes things a little bit tough. But again, we have to bear in mind, we don't know at what stage of development this game was. Now, if you remember from the video of the arcade I showed earlier, this is where the first boss attack occurs. There you go, they all jump up and suddenly... There you go, look at that. Lovely giant boss. And some really big sprites moving around the screen there for a computer like the AMSTRAD. You can jump up and down levels as well. The screen moves up and down with you. Nice. Obviously it's firing lots of bullets at you, which you can deflect with your sword. That's it, and just destroy them one at a time. Perhaps not the most exciting boss battle ever, but do you know what? Having big boss battles with big sprites in an AMSTRAD game is quite a rare occurrence, to be honest with you. It's a lot to ask of the AMSTRAD and Spectrum and Commodore to be putting big sprites and lots of them around the screen. And there's no slowdown of encounters so far. Okay, with that geezer destroyed, we can move on. And here's some interesting things start happening here. You can like jump onto walls and then jump off them. You can sort of stick to them and then jump off in the other direction, sort of almost Strider style, which I think was also from Capcom. Now, okay, first of all, well, I say first of all, we're halfway into this video now. The work done into actually getting the data off this discs and getting it playable. Now the discs were in an absolutely terrible state, and they were handed over to basically the guys at the World of Spectrum forums, because there was also the Spectrum version found, which has also been dumped. You can find a YouTube video of that recently as well, I think from the RZX Archive YouTube channel. Now, yeah, as I was saying, the discs were in a terrible state, with lots and lots of errors on them. So they had to be repeatedly dumped and dumped and dumped to try and get something that's usable. And there's been a credible amount of work and effort done by the guys from the World of Spectrum forums into extracting this data. And there's been many months of work actually. It's a real shame we didn't find the full game, but certainly we've got a playable game here. And here we go, another sort of big boss battle, which is done very well. And yeah, so it's taken them up to really from, I don't know, I think it was about July, August, these discs were found by Psycho Fox, up to about the mid-December, until we had something we could load up and play and use and test. Certainly the AMSTRAD demo we found here is a lot more complete than the Spectrum version. Sorry Spectrum fans. And that's the end of the first round there, so we're going to move on to the second round. I think the Spectrum version only has the first round has sort of been vaguely playable. But we can see here the game was already in sort of a very advanced state. I would say it's probably 90% complete, so maybe a full complete version exists somewhere. Now there's a website called the games that were for the Commodore 64, again I'll put a link in the description below, that actually has managed to get in touch with some of the programmers. In fact, they got in touch with, I think it's Wayne Billingham, the graphics guy for the Commodore 64 version, who's found some discs for the graphics for that. But he confirms that basically the game, when he left Tiertex, probably a few months after starting work on this game, that the game was indeed finished for all systems, all 8-bit systems, but US Gold never released it. Now previously these guys working at Tiertex were new guys, I think, coming to the company, because Tiertex have been known to be releasing a lot of shit games. I think the first and previous game they had done was Alien Storm, which is actually pretty good stuff across all the 8-bit formats, really well presented. And this was going to be their next game, which, according to information, this was completed. But US Gold was still promising the game to magazines as late as I think it was June 1992, from what I can work out. But you have to bear in mind that the previous game at the time released was Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, and I mean I never saw that game in any UK shop. Oh, by the way, at this point here I think the game doesn't move any further for some strange reason on this level, so we'll quit and go back to the menu in a second. So yeah, the last game US Gold released then was Indiana Jones Fate of Atlantis, which sold very little copies, and the next game scheduled was Street Fighter 2, which as we all know never came out on the Amstrad, so it was unlikely they would by that point have released the game. The only official word from US Gold was that it was in the final testing stages, but it looked like it didn't seem to be much more work to do, just clear up a few bugs and problems here and there. And here we see round 3, which moves to underwater level, and our little twin there, he's got his snorkel on. Perhaps could have done with some bubbles to signify we're underwater, but there's a very nice floaty feel to the sprite there as he's underwater. And Wow, got lots of sprites on screen there. And the game's not slowing down at all. And they've got quite a few bits of animation on there by the looks of it. Probably 2 or 3 frames of animation there per sprite perhaps. But yeah, this looks like it could have been a really impressive game. Certainly they'd have to sort out the horrible lag with the sword. I mean, it's really ruins the enjoyment of this, at least this demo. I'm sure it could have been sorted out though. And here we are already on to another boss battle against an angry fish. I was just wondering if there's anything else to mention really. Like I said, the Commodore 64 version, all they've got is just the graphics and sprites for it, not a playable version of the game. I think Simon Street has done the sprites for the AMSTRAD version. And, well, in fact, if you want to read more stuff, go on the Games That Were 64 site, that's gtw64.co.uk, link in the description. That gives it a little bit more interesting background on it. But yeah, I can't believe that AMSTRAD Computer User magazine had reviewed this game in this state. Perhaps it had been a little bit more complete at the time, but really naughty. But I just want to say a big thank you, first of all, to Psycho Fox again for well, he found the discs and he very kindly donated them to, you know, respectable people on the scene. I don't know the guys personally at the World of Spectrum forums who worked on the game. I think there's about 2 or 3 of them have spent many months worth of work getting the data off these discs, so it was usable. I do know Zeropolis or Patrick Furlong on the AMSTRAD scene certainly did a lot of work on getting the AMSTRAD version up to scratch, and also working on the discs. So a big thank you to Patrick as well. And it's just really great to see you know, like a discovery from this, from a simple car boot sale. And thankfully it was someone as cool as Psycho Fox, who's got a great YouTube channel full of AMSTRAD stuff and other retro gaming collecting and stuff. And it's really lucky that it was someone like Psycho Fox who found these games, who's a really good person on the scene, who knows what to do with these and get them to the right people. So really thankful for that. And it's just really lovely to see on a, you know, a game that should have been released, and find out a bit more background information and story on the game. Really interesting stuff. And who knows, maybe someone might take all this data and actually finish the game off. Who knows? I hope someone does, because this looks like could have been quite a good platforming romp actually. And here's another impressive boss with lots and lots of sprites being thrown at you from him, all these little fishes. I think possibly the lag here with the sword gets a little bit worse. It's hard to tell sometimes. I think some of these, the control mechanics needed a bit of work as well. But yeah, brilliant stuff. And it's such a cool, we've got such a brilliant sort of retro gaming community around us now, thanks to the internet, that all this work can be conducted and done. So great stuff. So thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed, and who knows what we'll discover in the future. Cheers.